The United States has embarked on a significant shift in its nuclear strategy. This change, shrouded in secrecy, signals a new era in global nuclear dynamics. At the heart of this shift is a growing concern: China's rapidly expanding nuclear arsenal. No longer is Russia the sole focus of America's nuclear calculus. The rise of China, both economically and militarily, has forced a strategic recalibration. This new strategy, officially known as the Nuclear Employment Guidance, remains highly classified. Only a select few within the Biden administration have access to its contents. However, whispers of its existence and implications have begun to surface. Senior officials have hinted at its contents in carefully worded speeches, while experts speculate on its ramifications. The document itself, according to sources, outlines a future where China's nuclear capabilities rival those of the United States and Russia. This shift in focus does not diminish the ongoing threat posed by Russia. Moscow's nuclear arsenal remains the largest in the world, and its recent actions in Ukraine have only heightened global anxieties. The new strategy acknowledges this reality. It seeks to address the challenges posed by both Russia and China simultaneously, a delicate balancing act with potentially catastrophic consequences. China's response to this strategic shift has been swift and sharp. Beijing has accused the United States of exaggerating the China threat to justify its own military expansion. Chinese officials maintain that their nuclear arsenal is purely defensive, intended to deter aggression and safeguard national sovereignty. They argue that the United States, with its vast nuclear arsenal and global military presence, is the real threat to global stability. Despite these protestations, China's nuclear modernization continues at an alarming pace. Experts predict that China could possess over 1,000 nuclear warheads by 2030, a significant increase from its current stockpile. This rapid expansion, coupled with China's growing assertiveness in the South China Sea and its stance towards Taiwan, has fueled anxieties in Washington and among U.S. allies in the region. The lack of transparency surrounding China's nuclear program further exacerbates these concerns. Unlike the United States and Russia, which have engaged in arms-controlled dialogues and treaties, China has resisted calls for greater transparency. This reluctance to engage in meaningful dialogue only deepens suspicions and increases the risk of miscalculation. Despite the growing focus on China, Russia remains a central concern in U.S. nuclear policy. The Kremlin's nuclear arsenal, coupled with its recent actions in Ukraine, serve as a stark reminder of the enduring threat posed by Russia. The ongoing conflict in Ukraine has shattered the post-Cold War security architecture in Europe and raised fears of a direct confrontation between NATO and Russia. The new U.S. nuclear strategy acknowledges this reality. It recognizes that Russia's nuclear arsenal and its willingness to use it, even rhetorically, represent a clear and present danger. The strategy emphasizes the need to maintain a credible nuclear deterrent to counter this threat, while simultaneously seeking ways to reduce tensions and prevent an escalation of the conflict in Ukraine. However, the deteriorating relationship between Washington and Moscow complicates efforts to manage this nuclear rivalry. Years of mistrust, accusations of treaty violations, and the ongoing war in Ukraine have created a climate of hostility and suspicion. This lack of trust makes meaningful dialogue on arms control and strategic stability nearly impossible, increasing the risk of miscalculation and escalation. Adding another layer of complexity to this nuclear equation is North Korea. Despite its isolation and limited resources, Pyongyang has developed a nuclear arsenal capable of threatening the United States and its allies in the region. Kim Jong-un's regime has repeatedly defied international sanctions and diplomatic pressure, continuing its pursuit of nuclear weapons and ballistic missile technology. The new U.S. nuclear strategy acknowledges the persistent threat posed by North Korea. It recognizes that Pyongyang's nuclear ambitions, coupled with its unpredictable behavior, represent a serious challenge to regional and global security. The strategy emphasizes the need to maintain a credible deterrent against North Korea, while also seeking diplomatic solutions to denuclearize the Korean Peninsula. However, efforts to engage North Korea in meaningful dialogue have stalled. Pyongyang's demands for security guarantees and sanctions relief have been met with skepticism from Washington, while its continued missile tests and provocative rhetorics have only deepened mistrust. The lack of progress on denuclearization, coupled with North Korea's growing nuclear and missile capabilities, raises concerns about a potential conflict on the Korean Peninsula.